We're talking about a primary, okay? I understand the sort of cruel tribalist logic of, look, you vote for the nominee of your party because they're going to go and they're going to vote on judges and do all this stuff. But they have a choice. They got 3 Republicans. You do not have to vote for the guy who's responsible for a mine that killed 29 people. There's 2 other people. They hate Barack Obama. They love Donald Trump. They're Republicans. You had Luther Strange in Alabama. I do not get this desire to vote for a person who seems the most odious when you're just choosing between other Republicans.
Well, because they don't consider people like Mona Charen or myself as conservatives, even though our conservative credentials go way, way back. They don't consider us part of the tribe. And I think they're looking for people like Donald Trump who are politically incorrect. I think political incorrectness has become now a badge of honor in the Republican Party, and Don Blankenship knew exactly what he was doing when he ran that China People ad.
Leon.
To the point where Steve Bannon has said that you should wear the charge of racism as a badge of honor.
Right. Yeah, and I would explain it slightly differently. I think that it's mainly, it's one thing, it's nice to win, but it's even nicer if you can win while rubbing your opponent's face in it.
Right.
And I think that's what they got with Trump, and I think that's what they're trying to get with Blankenship.
But then,
like, here's somebody they really hate, so let's go with them.
That's exactly what it is. It's all the right enemies, right? The idea is that, like, there's this kind of bank shot logic, which is that if the right people hate me, then I have to be good. Right. And you end up in these crazy situations where you're like, you're voting for a guy that's alleged in Alabama to, like, have molested children, right? Because it's making the liberals crazy.
And you're also voting. Both sides are marinating in hatred, both Republicans and Democrats. Honestly, what does the Democratic Party stand for this year? Nothing except hating Trump, which is understandable. And the Republican Party doesn't stand for anything. The Republicans are doing nothing on Capitol Hill. They are not interested in doing anything except rubbing liberals' noses in people that they find odious.
But the problem is, if somebody like Don Blankenship actually gets the nomination, he's going to go exactly the way Roy Moore did, and he's going to lose. So all these people who want to win are going to lose.
Well, let me just say this, though. Let me to respond to that. And obviously, the mechanisms by which people justify things on their team, I think, is something that extends across the political spectrum. I 100% agree. People will excuse all kinds of behavior. But the reason I'm so focused on the primaries here is because there's a seeking out happening in the primaries that's different than, okay, we have to stand by this person who's been accused because we can't let them take a scalp, right, on the other team. Right. Like that's sort of the perversity there, the sort of luxuriating in the perversity that is really what it seems to me is happening with Moore and with Blankenship and with Trump does seem distinct. It doesn't seem like that's a symmetrical phenomenon in American life right now to me.
I agree.
And you've got people like Joe Arpaio in Arizona. Yeah. There you have, Vice President
Kelly
Pence.
Ward.
Or Kelly Ward
now in Arizona.
Yeah.
Leon, can you explain to me? I understand that party leadership is often not very popular with the faithful, but it was interesting to me that Blankenship chose Mitch McConnell. Basically, he's like, here's who I'm going to run against. I'm not going to run against my opponents. I'm just going to run against Mitch McConnell. Like, just and it was a somewhat similar strategy Roy Moore took on. Explain what that's about.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, we are in a Republican primary, so, I mean, he has no reason to attack the Democrat right now, and kind of the surest way to align yourself, I guess, with the part of the party who's most closely aligned with Trump and is very popular in West Virginia is to take on the Republican establishment. But,
but why do they hate him so much? Like, what is that? You can take on people and it doesn't work, but there's something there that says Mitch McConnell is what?
Well, Mitch McConnell is just kind of a symbol of what basically Trump was elected to combat, I think, in a lot of these people's minds, which is, just kind of business as usual in Washington. People who say they're going to get things done and they don't get things done. And we have seen some continuation of that, even with the Republican president. I mean, for years, Mitch McConnell promised that an Obamacare repeal was coming. The excuse was, well, we don't have enough senators, we don't have enough representatives, the president's going to veto it. All those things were washed away in 2016. He still doesn't get it done at the end of the day. So there's a lot of frustration, I think, built up.
Mona, you get the final word here.
In another world, in another universe, I guess, you could imagine a situation in which President Trump would say to Blankenship, how dare you impugn my Secretary of Transportation and make racist comments about her?
Yes.
You are excommunicated. But of course, that's not the Trump
That's
style.
a great point, as opposed to the sort of meta argument that he can't win the general, as opposed
Exactly.
to you're acting in a despicable fashion and you have the blood of 29 minors on your hands.